Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Nick Gray, and today I have another smartphone camera comparison for you with the all-new OnePlus 9 Pro, which was just unveiled this week, and comparing that with the Google Pixel 5, which I'm using to record right now. As I do in all of these smartphone camera comparisons, everything that you see in this video is recorded on the cameras on these two devices, so just keep an eye on the bottom of the screen to see which device and which cameras from that device are being used. But before we jump into some side-by-side photo and video comparisons, let's take a look at the specifications of these two devices and see how the cameras stack up. I'm going to start things off with the OnePlus 9 Pro, which has a quad camera setup on the back, highlighted by a main 48 megapixel main sensor and then a 50 megapixel ultra wide camera. It also has a 3.3x zoom camera with an 8 megapixel sensor, and then finally a 2 megapixel monochrome sensor. As far as video capture goes, these cameras max out at 8K video at 30 frames per second and can also do 4K video at up to 120 frames per second if you're looking for slow motion, or else 4K 60 as well. As far as the main camera goes, it has a single 16 megapixel sensor up front, capable of recording video at 1080p 60 FPS. Switching over to the Pixel 5, we have a much simpler setup here with two sensors on the back of the phone, 12 megapixels for the main camera and then 16 megapixels for the ultra-wide camera, both of these maxing out at 4K video 30 FPS. As far as the front-facing camera goes, we have a single 8 megapixel sensor capable of recording 1080p video at 30 frames per second as well. So now that we've gotten the specifications of these two devices all squared away, let's jump into some side-by-side photo and video comparisons to see how these two devices stack up in everyday use. This here's a look at video capture from the front-facing cameras on both of these devices. As you can see, both of them recording in 1080p 30 FPS right now. But the OnePlus 9 Pro does have the advantage with frame rates being able to go all the way up to 1080p 60 FPS if you want to use that. If you are interested in capturing the highest quality video possible of yourself with either of these two smartphones, I recommend flipping them around and using the ultra-wide cameras on the back, since both of those are able to capture 4K video at up to 30 frames per second. And the dynamic range that they offer in situations like this is much better, being able to handle the highs and the lows a lot better than the front-facing camera on either of these two devices can do. Should be a good test of the dynamic range for the front-facing cameras while recording video here in a little bit of a shade, but then backlit to see which device blows out the background a little bit more while trying to keep my face lightened up just a little bit. Video capture from both of these devices in low light conditions. As you can see here, they both do fairly well when a subject is lit, and then moving over to a darker side of the room. See how they do in extreme low light conditions. Now, it's not often that the Pixel 5 comes out ahead in a camera comparison when looking at video, especially the front-facing camera. But in this situation, the Pixel 5 definitely has the advantage in a low light situation like this when compared to the OnePlus 9 Pro, which is a little bit embarrassing for OnePlus since the Pixel 5 cost a good $250 less. And that's going to do it for this camera comparison between the Google Pixel 5 and OnePlus's new 9 Pro. Let me know what you think of the results in the comments below and which device you would rather use on a day-to-day basis for capturing photos and videos. And also, let me know if you think the Hasselblad branding on this device lives up to the hype. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.